Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and I want to talk about Facet, and I want to talk about Hobbits, Ents, and Balrogs officially in Dungeons & Dragons, in my humble opinion, and the absolutely historical, unprecedented, massive ramification of the choice to print the making of original Dungeons & Dragons 1970 to 1977. All right, so first of all, if you don't know what Facet is, I'm going to define it real quick here. But this video is part of a playlist, and you will get better, fuller context if you watch it in sequence in the playlist it's in. Just click on the description below. Right at the top will be the playlist. All right. Facet. Facet is the 100-page first printing of original Dungeons & Dragons. It came out in February 1974. There was 1,000 copies printed. They were sent from the printers directly to Gary Gygax's house. They sat in his house. Gary Gygax, Don Kay, Michael Bloom, all, I think it might have been Don, one of the Bloom brothers. Literally, you would send them a $15 check, and they would ship this box to you, right? They would ship these rules to you in a box, right? Pretty astounding. It's unbelievable, right? It's just what happened, okay? It came out, and the original printing of Dungeons & Dragons did not refer to halflings or tree folk or you know, deep pit beasts, like deep pit demons. It said Hobbit and Balrog right in the text, okay? Now, it was literally illegal to print that. It was a copyright infringement, which later got fixed in what they then called editions. We don't have editions now. We only have facets. The D&D community shines the light onto D&D, and, you know, gleaming light shines back from cut facets, right? First facet, second facet, third facet, fourth facet, fifth facet. We're about to have the infinite facet. And what I want to talk about today is in the making of Dungeons & Dragons, in the making of the original Dungeons & Dragons, 1970 to 1977, a book that is incoming that they have talked about extensively on the official Dungeons & Dragons site, and said, we are printing the original first printing of Dungeons & Dragons, Facet. That's what I call Facet, right? I call that Facet because we're going to talk about this at length. Facet contains Tolkien estate words, Hobbit and Balrog, okay? They're now going to reprint it. They're going to reprint the first printing of Dungeons & Dragons. What I don't think Hasbro understands is that they're printing the first printing of Dungeons & Dragons in a fully playable form that has never been available since 1975. Actually, since 1974. These 1,000 copies blew off the shelves. They were in Gary's house for about 3 months. They're all, and just to be clear, like, this is truly astounding. Just so you're aware, those 1,000 copies are sitting out there now, right? And I would say probably 200 or 300 have been destroyed, lost, right? Another 200 or 300 are utter garbage. They're in terrible condition because people didn't realize what they had. And then probably 300 or 400 pristine copies of this thing are sitting out there, right? And before, you could get those and you could play it, right? But beyond that, there was really no viable way to play this first printing. But Hasbro is going to print it, okay? Now, what's the big deal? Well, this has never been possible. You have never been able to pick up a printed official Dungeons & Dragons book and say, I'm playing a Hobbit, and you're not breaking any rules, right? This is Dungeons & Dragons finally printing the D&D Middle-earth Dungeons & Dragons experience for realsies. It's right there. It's printed. You can get it on the shelf, put it down, and play it. That has never happened before since 1974, right? So this has been unplayable for 50 years, right? And when it was being played in 1974, people were breaking a law, right? Like, that was copyright infringement, as I understand it, and in my humble opinion. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm pretty right, because Jason Tondro said this was copyright infringement. They did not have the right to do that. Copyright infringement is against the law, right? Like, you will end up in court over this. You could be prosecuted for it, right? So I don't think I'm wrong about that, but I'm willing to hear you if I'm incorrect on any of that. So basically, and now the Tolkien estate is 100% aware of what is being done. They understand that Hasbro is about to print the exact document that would allow anyone in 2024 to sit down at the table, take a set of polyhedral dice, and play an official Dungeons & Dragons Middle-earth game with Ents, Hobbits, and Balrogs. It's all right there, right? And it's not a stretch. It's literally the thing. It's the thing, right? So that's pretty astounding. That is shocking. That is shocking, right? And I don't think anybody at Hasbro realizes they are making a printable Dungeons & Dragons Middle-earth experience. Fully official. And they're doing it by reprinting something that was literally against the law the first time they did it. Now, it's not against the law. It's not any type of copyright infringement now, because I'm assuming they have the sign-off from the Tolkien estate, which makes complete logical sense, because the Tolkien estate and Dungeons & Dragons talk to each other every single month. Hasbro sends the Tolkien estate a check for MTG Lord of the Rings that was printed last year. They have a strong relationship. Nothing that is happening from Hasbro is a surprise to the whole Tolkien estate at this point, and I'm sure they've had the conversation, in my humble opinion, right? But this is astounding. This has never happened anywhere, right? Where something that everybody has been clamoring for, we've all wanted, an official D&D, Dungeons & Dragons, Middle-earth game. It has never existed since it happened illegally in 1974, but it's about to happen legally, and there will be a fully playable, fully official Dungeons & Dragons version where you can include Middle-earth. Hobbits, Ents, and Balrogs. Done. Go. You want to play a young Balrog adventurer? Here you go. You want to play a young Ent adventurer? Here you go. You want to play a young Hobbit adventurer? Here we go. It's right there. It's right there. Go to town, right? That's astounding. That is this. And the reason why I'm calling this out is Dungeons & Dragons canon is the most complicated thing in the world, right? Math has become math. Computers can do math now, right? But Dungeons & Dragons canon is so complicated that no one at Hasbro actually understands what they're doing that is also willing to openly discuss it. I do think there are people, I think there's about 5 to 10 people at Hasbro right now who fully understand Dungeons & Dragons canon and understand what is being accomplished with Dungeons & Dragons canon right now. Do you understand? Like, Hasbro is going to print this in this book in order to deal with Tolkien estate content. Jeff Bezos spent $500 million. $500 million is what Lord of the Rings of Power costs. Right? This is huge. The ramifications of this are absolutely massive. And I think it's happening publicly, but I don't think people understand what's actually happening with the making of original Dungeons & Dragons 1970s to 1977. And I do think I think there's 5 to 10 creatives at Hasbro who fully understand what's happening. And I think they're hacking the system. They're doing things with intellectual property that are not being done anywhere else on any product in the world. And I'm all for it, right? But what I think is really fascinating is There's not a single executive or suit at Hasbro has any idea what's actually happening. What's actually happening. All right? So pay attention. Like, and let's be clear. Every grognard on the planet is going to buy this book. And every 5th edition person is going to buy this book. This thing is going to fly off the shelves. It's huge. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. You get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.